We're now going to consider another kind of price discrimination in which the seller doesn't have information about individuals' willingness to pay, and so offers them choices. The set of ideas we're going to look at involves what's called bundling. So what we can do is, if the firm is selling two or more different kinds of products, they could be bundled together. So they could be sold as a package. The alternative would be to sell the items separately. If you offer just a single package, that's called pure bundling. So we've bundled everything together and we don't give people the choice of buying things separately. Once we've looked at this particular case, we're going to look at a more complex case called mixed bundling, where we can offer either a bundle of products together, or we can say you can buy the bundle, but you can also buy, instead of the bundle, you can buy an individual item within it and just pay for that separately. So let's just look at the simpler case of pure bundling first. So we could ask, why do we want to do this? Why do we want to package things together rather than just sell them separately and attach individual profit maximizing prices to them? Well, the objective must be to increase profit contribution. In other words, we're going to get the buyers to spend more on these products than they would if we just priced them separately. So let's consider a very simple, rather artificial numerical example just to show the basic idea. So to keep things simple here, I'm going to assume that the seller knows what individuals' valuations are. That is, the maximum willingness to pay that they would have for any particular product that we might be putting in our bundle. I'm also going to make the simplifying assumption that if we charge, say, somebody $30 for a ticket to go to a concert, and that is their maximum willingness to pay, I'm going to assume that they're going to actually buy that ticket. So let's just run through the information that I've put here. I've imagined that we've got three types of customers. I've called them A, B, and C. And just to keep the numerical example simple, I'm going to suppose that there's only one person in each category. But obviously you could make the example more realistic. So again, to keep things simple, I'm going to suppose that the marginal cost of allowing somebody into the concert is 0, as long as there's an empty seat there. And that the cost of putting on a concert is just fixed. So we have to pay the musicians and maybe rent the venue or something like that. So we're thinking of putting on 3 concerts, and these individuals have varying levels of interest in the different concerts. So that is reflected in their differing willingnesses to pay. So person A, obviously more interested in concert 1 than in concert 3. And person B feels differently. Person C feels differently yet again. However, in this simple case, everybody has the same total valuation for all concerts. We can just add up how much they value each individual concert. So if we were to charge a bundle price of $60, then they would be willing to pay that because that's the sum of their valuations. But we could also sell them individual tickets. So let's ask ourselves the questions, the obvious questions here. If we're just going to charge a single price for each concert, what would that price be? And what I'd like you to do after we've reflected on these questions is just pause this video for a bit and look at the table and see if you can answer these questions. So, one option, charge a single price per concert. Based on the price that you come up with, you could figure out how much revenue that would involve, and therefore what the profits would be. Remembering, of course, that we've just got fixed costs here, no variable costs. And then you can ask yourself whether it would be better actually to just sell season tickets for the concert instead of selling prices for each individual concert. So just pause the video for this at this point and see what you can make of these numbers. Well, let's have a look at how we can think about this. I'm going to argue that $20 a ticket would be the best price that we could charge given people's willingnesses to pay. After all, given that all costs are fixed costs, what the firm wants to do is to maximize its revenues. So in this simple case, you could just say, well, if we charge a price of $30, what would our revenues be? It would be $30 per concert because B and C would not buy a ticket. If we set a price of $20, both person A and person C will buy tickets. And if we set a price of $10, everybody will buy a ticket, but our revenues will only be $30. So if we set a price of $20, then we get $40 for each concert, given the preferences here. So a total revenue of $120, $90 to put on all the concerts, so we would be left with a profit of $30. Well, you can easily see that if we charge a bundle price, we can charge up to $60. That's going to give us $180 in total revenues. So that's going to maximize profits. Now, as I note here, the reason that we get this answer is that there's really no correlation at all between the valuations that people give for each individual concert. They're kind of randomly scattered across each individual concert. Very different from a situation, let's say, in which concert one, let's say, is being put on by some very famous person, and everybody's willing to pay a lot for that, but not so much for the other ones. So you can have different patterns of willingness to pay and that's going to then influence the strategy that would be best for the firm to undertake. So in the next example, I'm going to consider varying this pattern of preferences. So let's consider the more complex situation of mixed bundling. So now we've got a choice. We can sell a bundle, or we can offer the buyer a choice of buying components separately. Well, again, as with pure bundling, the objective is to increase profit contribution. So if we want to compare pure bundling with the mixed bundling option, then we've got to figure out which one is going to give the greatest profit contribution. So let's go back to the same story, but I've kind of changed things a little bit compared to the other one. This was $30 before, and this was I think $20. Now, not everybody has the same total valuation. So this person has really no interest in concert 1, but is quite interested in concert 3. So again, here's a series of questions for you, or here's a question for you to think about. If we had a pure bundling strategy, how would that turn out? Can you think of a mixed bundling combination where we offer a choice of one price for all of the concerts and a separate price for individual concerts? Could you figure out a combination for a mixed bundle that would do better than a pure bundle? So again, why don't you pause the video at this point and see if you can make some sense of this situation. And then I will, in the next slide, go through the solution. Okay, so here's our story. If we have a pure bundle, obviously the greatest revenue that you can get from it would be to charge a price of $50. Then you're going to sell tickets to everybody. You'll have 3 times 50 is 150, minus the $90 cost of putting on the concerts gives us this profit. Obviously, a bundle charge of $60 would only give you revenues of $120, and this person would not buy the bundle. What about a mixed bundling strategy? Well, we have the advantage of knowing that person C is willing to pay quite a lot to go to concert 3. So if we throw in an option of $40 per ticket, then we'll only sell one ticket, that is to person C, for concert number 3. But at the same time, we can set a bundle price of $60. And these two types of customers, A and B, will be happy to buy the bundle price. They're not willing to pay $40 for anything. And our total revenues are going to be the revenues from the bundle, plus the single ticket price revenue for $160. And as you can see, compared to the pure bundle price, that raises profits by $10. So I guess the obvious question to ask is, what's the key difference between what we're looking at here and the previous situation where pure bundling made sense? And obviously the answer is that there's extra interest in this particular concert, at least on the part of some people. And if some people have an extra willingness to pay, then we can take advantage of that by offering a relatively high ticket price. And in this case, this person has very little interest in this concert as well. So it's really high interest on the part of customers in some concerts and low interest in other ones. So they wouldn't really be interested in buying the bundle price, because that would be in total too much. But you could get them to come out to a particular concert and pay a higher price for that.